In Level 2 of the online Pali course, we found out that an important principle of Pali syntax is that a qualifier precedes qualified. Because of this rule, adjectives usually come before nouns, and genitives are usually placed before the things that they possess. For example, Setang Pupang, the white flower. Seitino Gehang, the merchant's house. The same principle can also operate over much longer syntactical units, in particular subordinate clauses. In English, subordinate clauses tend to either get mixed up with the main clause or to come after the main clause. Consider this example. He went to eat in that part of town where the restaurants are inexpensive. Here, the subordinate clause starts with the word where. It comes after the main clause, and the main clause could stand alone as a complete sentence. On its own, the part of the sentence starting with the word where is incomplete. It makes no sense to say, where the restaurants are inexpensive. The sentence is incomplete. But the part of the sentence before the word where is complete. The main clause could stand alone, and it could be meaningful. In the next example, the subordinate clause is mixed in with the main clause. The man who teaches me has come to the village. Here, the main clause is the man has come to the village. The subordinate clause is hidden within this. It is who teaches me. Once again, the subordinate clause is incomplete. Saying who teaches me doesn't make much sense. But the main clause, apart from this, could stand alone and be meaningful. How does this work in Pali? How are main clauses and subordinate clauses related? In general, but not always, the relationship of subordinate clause to main clause follows the principle of qualifier before qualified. Since the subordinate clause qualifies the main clause, it's placed before the main clause. Let's consider a sentence. The man who teaches me has come to the village. So in this English sentence, the subordinate clause who teaches me is buried within the sentence around it. The main clause is put around it. But in Pali, the subordinate clause who teaches me would usually or generally come first. And so the sentence would look something like this. Who teaches me? That man has come to the village. Or you could say, which man teaches me? He has come to the village. In Pali, the subordinate clause, usually placed first, is called the relative clause. And the main clause, usually placed second, is called the correlative clause. So from our example sentence, the relative clause would be, who teaches me? And it will be completed by the correlative clause. That man has come to the village. One could state this slightly differently by saying, which man teaches me? He has come to the village. To make this type of statement, the relative clause is created by using a relative pronoun. The relative pronoun means who or which, and it declines exactly like tongue, the regular pronoun, except that it begins with the semivowel ya instead of ta or sa. So in Pali, our example sentence would be stated as follows. Yo mang deseti, so puriso gamam agato. Who teaches me? That man has come to the village. That is a way of saying in Pali, the man who teaches me has come to the village. Or one could say, Yo purisang mang deseti, so gamam agato. Which man teaches me? He has come to the village. The declension of the relative pronoun looks exactly like the declension of the third person pronoun tongue. The only difference is the first letter. As you can see, it's ya instead of ta or sa. So whereas the third person pronoun means that, he or she or it, the relative pronoun means which or who. Sa kanya means that girl, but ya kanya means which girl, the girl who. So means that man, but yo means which man, or the man who. And tung mungsang, that meat, is different from young mungsang, which means which meat, the meat which. Let's look once more at the sentence, the man who teaches me has come to the village. In Pali this would be, yo puriso mang de seti, so gamang agato. The relative and correlative pronouns here mark out the different parts of the sentence. So the start of the relative clause is marked with yo, and the end of the relative clause is marked by so being the beginning of the correlative clause. The same structure applies if the sentence is stated in the passive voice. Yena bhikkhuna ahang desito, so gamang agito. Literally translated, this would be, by which monk I have been taught, he to the village has come. But in better English we would say, the monk who taught me has come to the village. Let's have a look at that passive construction again. Yena bhikkhuna ahang desito, so gamam agato. The monk who taught me has come to the village. There are a couple of important things to notice here. First, the noun showing what the sentence is about, in other words, the logical subject bhikkhuna, it's put inside the relative clause to make it appear quite early. Second, the subject of the main clause, so, must stand first in the main clause, thus serving as a marker that the relative clause has come to an end and that the main clause is beginning. This marker is always in the form of the pronoun sa or tung. Let's have a look at a couple of examples of relative clauses. Yam bhikkhung passasi tenaha aham desito. The monk who you see has taught me, which literally is, which monk you see, by him I've been taught. Yam aham janami, tam tvam janasi. Yam tvam janasi, tam aham janami. What I know, that you know. What you know, that I know. This is quite a famous statement which comes from the Arya Pariyesana Sutta. It's a statement of the Buddha's teacher of meditation, Alara Kalama, telling the Buddha before his awakening that he's attained the same level of meditation as him. So really it's just one statement turned around. Yehi bhikkhuhi dhammo desito, te upasaka pi vandanti. The lay disciples also venerate those monks who teach the doctrine. In the correlative clause, te upasaka are not in agreement. Te is rather the correlative pronoun which picks up yehi. So te is the object of vandanti, and so is in the accusative case. Yena bahu punyam katang, tassa na odanam hiyati. Rice does not run out for the man who has made much merit. Literally this would be, by which person much merit has been made. For him, rice does not run out.